Hi guys, hope you're good. Hope everyone's well. Charlotte says, hey. Jeffrey says, how's it? All good. Usual, not too bad, not too bad. I can't complain that I'm tired. I'm actually not tired for once because it's quieter at the moment, but all good. How are you? How's things going with you? Hope you had a nice Christmas and New Year. Turn that off. I'm not sure how I feel. Oh, my phone. Put my watch on do not disturb, because otherwise things pop up on the. There you go. Can't be taking no risks. They're just doing the whole pre-match lineup. Bradley, Kanate, Van Dijk, Robertson. Interestingly, Frimpong and Bradley. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I'm not sure if that's too defensive. I like Frimpong, but I'd rather see Frimpong at right back, because then you have extra attacking quality on the right. I'm a bit worried that Bradley and Frimpong on the right is a bit too defensive, to be honest with you. But let's wait and see. And especially against Leeds. I would have hoped they'd kind of go for the jugular a bit more, but Bradley and Frimpong concerns me. But let's see what happens. Especially since it says that Leeds are playing a 3-4-3. Do you really need two right backs on the pitch against a 3-4-3? I don't know. Let's wait and see. It should be starting. Fish says, "Hi, Fish. You've changed your picture. You are no longer a goldfish. You are now something a bit different. It looks like a sunset in the background. What was the reason for changing the picture? Since you've changed the picture, does that mean you are no longer a fish? You are now some sort of tropical background? Should I call you tropical background from now on and not fish anymore? Because you're not a fish anymore." Harry says, "Hello, how are you?" All good, not bad. How are you? How's things with you? Are you playing any games at the moment? I've started playing God of War again. I played it when it first came out on PS5 about 2 years ago, and I figured let's try playing it on PC. So I've started playing it on PC. Grace says, "Yay, you're on." Indeed I am. How you doing, Grace? Hope you're good. Hope all is well with you. All is good, but I've had the radiators on all day, right? Because it's freezing. And now I'm right next to the radiator, so now I'm boiling. But other than that, I'm good. How are you? King Sloth says, "Just want to say you're a likable Liverpool fan, and there's not many." That's from a United fan. I'll take that as a compliment. I like that, to be honest. I'm liking it. But yeah, no, I appreciate that. Hope you've had a good New Year and Christmas, King Sloth. I should really set the timer on this. As soon as I say I should really set the timer, they always take the timer off the screen. But it is what it is. Grace is good now. Been waiting for your live all day. Appreciate that. Hope you had a good New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. Hope all has been good. Did you get up to much? I bought some items from the Liverpool store. I bought this T-shirt. I got this from the Liverpool store. It says £32. I got it for tenner. I got this for 10 quid. And I got this for 10 quid. And there's one that's fallen on the floor. I also got this for 10 quid. So I'm quite happy with that. I've been a bit busy. Crazy FC guy says, yo, how you doing? Hope all is well in Norway. Mo Scout says, what's up? Nothing much. The usual. Did a bit of shopping. Bought a few t-shirts. Just relaxing, really. I say relaxing. I booked another holiday for 2 weeks because I've got a problem. You know, I've got this mental and psychological problem where I keep booking holidays. So I've booked another one for 2 weeks. But other than that, I'm good. How you doing? King Slot says, who do you think is replacing Chelsea manager? That's a good question. I was kind of shocked when he got sacked because I didn't think he was doing that badly. The rumors are that it's going to be Liam Rossinia. But we'll have to wait and see. Liam Rossinia or Xavi, I think. What do you think? Fish says, call me Juice WRLD and Gornik Zabja fan. I can try calling you that, but Fish certainly had a bit more of a ring to it and was easier to enunciate given it was one syllable. I mean, Juice WRLD and Gornik Zabja fan, that's a bit of a mouthful, but I'll try my best. Harry's okay playing Battlefield 6. How is it? Is it any good? Should I get it? We need to resume our FPS playing. You know, we had that time period where we were playing FPS's co-op and Fish was there and Fish was supporting me but hating on you. we need to resume that. So if you're playing Battlefield 6, I might have to get that. Mr. Default says, United, how you doing? You probably won't like the Liverpool shirts that I bought. Just did a countdown and that was it. Fair enough. Can't complain. Happy New Year to you also. You look like Amir. Well, that is my name. If you just change the A to a U and the I to an A. So it's half my name. Did you do anything for New Year, says Grace? Just a bit of shopping, booked a holiday. I need to stop booking holidays. I booked another holiday today. And yeah, chores are basically chores because I live on my own, so I've been doing a bit of cleaning, all that kind of stuff. Not giving up today. Let's try not to give up. Yeah, let's hope so. 100%. Mr. Default was shocked. This is presumably at the Maresca sacking. Apparently it was mutual agreement though. Yeah, it feels like one of those, we'll pay you a certain amount of million if you leave, and then that way you can say that you haven't been sacked, but it's mutual, so we'll give you a bit of money. It feels like one of those. It's a bit of an odd one. I can't lie. It just came out of nowhere. You know what I mean? It'll be that Liam guy, yeah, Liam Rossinia. He's apparently he's pretty good, up and coming manager. I think he used to play for Southampton back in the day. Finley says, just in case you didn't know, it's the new year. I didn't know, but I appreciate the reminder. How are you doing? How are things in Newcastle? I can pretend I'm wearing a Newcastle shirt today. I've tried that before on Newcastle fans, but it doesn't work. I think you're right. There's something going on behind the scenes. At that club, you don't seem to be given any smidge of breathing room. As soon as you screw up, you're out. I'm not sure that's the best environment, but equally they do have a tendency to deliver trophies, so maybe there is something in that. Fish says, check Gornik Stadium. What's the name of the stadium? Tell me the name of the stadium and I'll look it up. Crazy FC guy, does my cat have a good prediction? He's saying 3-0. Ekatike, 13-minute goal. So Bosley penalty 33 minutes and Ekatike. You just wanted to say 6-7, didn't you? You just wanted to say 6-7. That's what's going on here. You were setting that up. You were setting that up for a while because you just wanted to say 6-7. I appreciate the level of commitment that takes. But generally speaking, I think your cat is correct. Ethan says, hi, how are you? Good, not too bad. To be honest, I'm boiling because I've had the heating on all day in my house and I haven't been in this room. And I forgot how hot this room gets. So I'm boiling, to be honest with you. But other than that, I'm good. Bro was like, not enough of holidays. Yeah, I got a serious problem. So I went to Canada in October. I went to Netherlands in November. I went to Italy in December. I'm going to Hungary in 2 weeks and then Japan in February. But after Japan, I'll slow down. I promise. I'll try my best. Grace says, did you like the jokes I tagged you in? I did. The one about the banana was quite good. That made me laugh. Jack says, you're not close enough to the mic there, mate. Okay, there you go. Is that any better? That should be better. Finley says, still not great. Always having strong first halves. Then awful second. We made Burnley look like Barcelona. Well, that's when you know things are not going too well. I'm trying to remember some of your recent results. You lost to somebody away from home, but I thought you'd win that one. What does it ultimately mean for Eddie Howe? Do you think Eddie Howe has a future there? From your perspective as a Newcastle fan, would you keep him there, or what's the situation with that? Fish says Arena Zabja. This is the stadium of your home team that you want to show me. That looks pretty good, man. That looks massive. I don't know why I sounded so Welsh there. I'm not Welsh. Give me a sec. But I was like, that's massive. Look at that. That's quite a nice stadium. Is that a new stadium? That's a lot fancier than I was expecting. But that looks really good. Can't lie. Crazy FC guy says, is it good? Is this where you tried to make me say 6-7? That was good. Zame says, good evening / late afternoon would be Fabregas. I didn't think of that. That's Zame sometimes comes out with these outfield ideas, but they're always good ideas, and it's things that most people don't think of. And that's another one. I did not even consider Fabregas, but Fabregas is doing very well at Como, and he does have history at Chelsea, so that's an option. Although it would be funny if Chelsea are linked with all these fancy names and then they get Frank Lampard. Fish says, call me Juice WRLD fan. Fish, I've been calling you Fish for the best part of a year. It's going to take a bit of a adjustment to call you Juice WRLD fan. Can I call you Juice? Juice, is that good enough? Or do I have to say the whole thing? Crazy FC guy says, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you also. My watch has like a notification on it all day that says Happy New Year, and I can't get rid of it, which is a bit annoying. Chicken Wing, also known as Doge, also known as Custard Cream Sandwich, says, did you do anything for New Year's? Did a bit of shopping. You won't like it though. I bought some things from the Liverpool shop. I bought this t-shirt. Price tag is 30 quid. I got it for £10. And I bought this t-shirt. And I bought this t-shirt. They were like £10 each, so I kind of had to. So that's the general gist of it. I did all that, and then I booked another holiday. Finley says, bro, where does all this bread come from? WTF with all these holidays. I do need to chill out with the holidays. The thing is, I like traveling when it's cold, but when it's hot, I don't like traveling. I just don't like hot weather. So in the period from, say, May all over summer, I'm just at home next to the air conditioner or the fan. That's how I legitimize it in my head. King Sloth says Chelsea own Salzburg, where that manager's from, so easy appointment. That does make things a lot easier. It does make things a lot easier. I still have to wait 5 more days for Christmas, and I also need to wake up at 4 a.m. on the 6th of January. Why is that? So I think you were telling me previously your Christmas is on the 7th. But why do you have to wake up at 4 a.m.? That's a killer. That's super early. Finley says Eddie's got, and this is Eddie Howe, has a maximum of the rest of the season. If this carries on, he needs to change his tactics. Okay, so you'd kind of favor a tactical change rather than a managerial change, which is fair enough. What would you like him to change his tactics to? Grace says there's only one stadium I've been to, and it's Riverside. Nice. Was it good? Did you enjoy it? What was the match that you went to there? Chicken Wing says, how'd you get so much time off work for holidays? Good question. The previous few years I haven't done. Oh, Ekatike Verts blocked. Previous few years I haven't done much traveling. So if you don't use your holidays, they carry over to the next year. So I've kind of been carrying over for a while. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to use them. King Slot knows what I mean. I have the same problem with holidays. Damn the travel companies for making cheap flights. Yeah. I think that's part of it. That's part of the equation. And the other part of the equation is trains are so expensive. For example, if you want to get a train to London, it will cost you hundreds of pounds. If you want to get a train up north, it will cost you hundreds of pounds. Whereas getting a flight is like, I mean, dependent on where you go, a lot less than that. So it's crazy that sometimes flying halfway across the world is cheaper than getting a train 100 miles. Grace says, would love to go to Anfield or Old Trafford. Anfield's nice. Been quite a few times. I've never been to Old Trafford though. Fish says, call me Juice World. I'll try my best, but I just call you Fish. If you notice, I said Fish said, call me Juice World, which means I've screwed it up. You look like whoever that is. I'll have a look. Really? I look nothing like this guy. I couldn't look any less like this guy. I'll go for the picture that's got a beard. Is this the guy or do I have the wrong guy? I'll be honest, I don't see the resemblance. But that's your opinion. Sunday says, I can't believe Maresca will leave Chelsea. Yeah, same. It just completely came out of nowhere. He did decently well last year. Especially, did Maresca take over from Pochettino? I can't remember. But I thought he did quite well last year. And then, okay, things are not going as well this year. But I still thought, okay, they'll give him a bit of time to sort it out. But then they didn't even do that. So yeah, I'm give me a sec. I'm kind of in shock, to be honest. They said it's it's one of those mutual things, but sounds to me like he was pushed, to be honest with you. Finley says, I think we need to experiment more. We've got more depth in defense and midfield as well. That could be an option, but to be fair, your signings seem all right. Voltome is getting a few goals here and there. Actually, more than a few goals here and there. Vissa was out injured. But I swear Vissa's scored more goals than Isak. I think he scored the other day, and I think he scored before that as well. So he's doing alright. Grace says, I think he's rich. I wish I was. You went to the Leeds game, pretty nice. Finley says, we've become too predictable. I think that's a common thing for a few teams. I feel like Liverpool have become a bit predictable as well. Teams know what we're gonna do, so teams play long ball. I think that's kind of what makes Pep Guardiola kind of special, because he will change things around. He'll play 4 at the back, he'll play 3 at the back, and that makes the Man City teams less predictable. Fish says, Google, I know who 50 Cent is. I do not look like 50 Cent. We don't cross when Voltamade is on. Vissa comes on and we put crosses on. Oh, that's weird. So you don't cross for the tall guy, but you cross for the shorter guy. That is bizarre. King Sloth says, plus you only have one life, so why not visit the world and enjoy it? I agree with that 100%. And another way I see it is my physical capability will decline before my mental capability does. In terms of, I feel like my legs will go before my brain goes. So the window of having good legs is shorter than the window of having a good brain. So it makes sense to make use of that as well. Also, I can go hours and hours and not need to use the bathroom. And I think that's important if you're catching long flights and things. I think the flight to Canada was 8 hours and I didn't even use the bathroom. Whereas the person next to me was using the bathroom every 2 seconds. So I think that helps. Fish says Juice World says go to school to pick up the kids and present. Depends what I'm going to present. Zaim says, as a well-experienced traveller, what tips or gadgets have you learnt along the way? That's a good question. What have I learnt? I have before I go on holiday, I have a list of things that I need to do and I need to pack. So I have that. I have a bunch of different phone chargers for different countries, because the US plug is 2 straight pins, whereas the EU plug is 2 rounded pins. So I have a bunch of chargers for all the different countries. Another thing is I try and plan out as much as I can beforehand so that I'm not wasting time when I'm there. So I have an itinerary. Another thing is ChatGPT is quite useful. If you say to ChatGPT, I'm going to Japan for 2 weeks, plan me an itinerary. Use that as your baseline, but always double, triple check it, because it will generally be okay, but it will get some things wrong. So I think getting ChatGPT to create you a base itinerary is good, but you still have to manually go through that and double check it. And then have a means of staying entertained. And a big one is get noise cancelling earphones. Because I used to travel back in the day without earphones, and when I'd get off the plane, I would feel so tired, and I couldn't figure out why. Why do I feel so tired? I've just been sitting down. But once I got noise cancelling earphones, they cancel out the sound of the jet engine. And long story short, now when I get off the plane, I don't feel tired. So the sound of the engine going, just listening to that for 10 hours tires you out. That's something I've learned. So it's very important to get noise cancelling earphones just to cancel out the sound of the jet engine, because then when you get off the plane, you'll feel a lot less tired. So that's a big one as well. Kingslot says Old Trafford is the mecca of football. You'll love it. I'll have to go one day. I perhaps can't turn up in this shirt. I will have to wear generic clothing. Mo Scout has to wake up at 4 a.m. on the 6th of January because we have a tradition to wake up at 4 a.m. to cut a tree and take their things, and we have a thing called Pukanja, and we have to catch candy and peanuts while people throw it at us. Okay, interesting. Sounds like an interesting tradition. If you catch the candy and peanuts, can you then eat them? That seems fair. If you're allowed to eat the candy that they threw at you. Fish says I look like I show speed. I do not. The one I look like the most is that goalkeeper, that Turkish goalkeeper you sent me. That was the most. Akash says, how are Liverpool playing? They're not doing too much, to be honest. I don't think they've created a single good chance. Grace says, Mom won't let me watch football just because she's watching something. That is unfortunate timing. I'll try and keep you updated if anything happens in this Liverpool game. So far, nothing much has happened. Arsenal says, wishing you all the best for today's game. Appreciate that. It's very kind. Fish, that's a phone case. I know what that is. Whisters, Finley can't even say the name, which to be fair, I understand because I don't say TRENT anymore. I just call him 66. So I totally understand that. Wisax played 3 games and it's the same amount. Seems to be settling in quite nicely. Arsenal says I look like Alisson. I'll take that. Well, I am wearing Alisson's kit, and I do have the beard, so I can understand that. Mo Scout says you keep it, and the one who gets the most gets a prize of €100. Nice. That sounds like pretty good. Have you ever won the prize? Have you ever won the €100 prize from this activity where you have to wake up at 4 a.m.? Fish hating on McAllister. Fish hating on banana pudding. I had banana pudding in New York and it's absolutely amazing. You just reminded me of it. But it was really good. It's like banana-y and it's got like little bits of cake in it and it's so good. I think I had it 3 times, I think, in the space of a week. Juice World says, what's your favorite color? Are you asking me? Probably black. Fish says I look like Benny Blanco. Maybe a little bit. Gray says you've got my favorite hat on. Indeed, I have. I think I'll alternate it. That probably makes the most sense. Wear a fancy hat one game and then wear an Adidas hat the next game. Keeps things interesting. Pro Skills says, hey, how's it going? Hope you are doing good. Hope you had a nice Christmas, New Year. Mo Scouts won the prize 5 times already. Damn, you're pretty good at this game. You must be the favorite for the next one then. Because it sounds like you're the champion. Arsenal says, have you heard about the Maresca sacking? I have. It was a bit of a surprise. It just completely came out of nowhere. I was not expecting that. And to be honest, I feel like most people were not expecting that. Apparently it was a mutual thing. But I appreciate Chelsea are not doing too well at the moment, but equally I didn't feel like they were doing too bad. And I didn't feel like they were doing so bad as to sack their manager. So yeah, it was a big surprise. I read it this afternoon and then I had to double check it just to check that I hadn't misread what I was seeing. Conor Bradley's just been kicked in the face, so that'll be him out for another 3 months. Oh no, he gets up. Grace wants to go to New York. It was good. I enjoyed it. When you go, make sure you try their pizza. The New York pizza is the best pizza I've ever had. Better than Italy, to be honest. I would definitely recommend it. Arsenal says depends where. If in the hoods is way better, I mean banana pudding. It could be. It could be. I was just putting together. To be honest, I've totally forgotten about banana pudding. When I was putting together my itinerary for New York, there was a thing in there where it said, make sure you go to Magnolia Bakery to try their banana pudding. And it's the only time I've ever had banana pudding in my life, and it's absolutely amazing. But it's a fair point that other places may also have good banana pudding. So maybe I should try other places as well, I think. Frimpong, I don't like this formation. How are you at home to Leeds, right? And you've got two right backs on the pitch. You've got Conor Bradley right back and you've got Frimpong right wing. That's too defensive for me. That's far too defensive. Fish says Google Benny Blanco. I know he had that song, didn't he? I look like him. And do I look like this version of him with feet on his face? Like, is this the version of him, or is it this? He's into feet a lot, isn't he? Like, why is he not wearing any shoes? So there, he's not wearing any shoes. There, he's got feet on his face. Is there any? There you go. There's a normal picture. I don't see the resemblance. I don't see the resemblance. But he's with Selena Gomez, so that's probably a positive. King Slat says, have you ever been to Cyprus? Has some of the best beaches in the world. I have not. But you're giving me ideas of where to go. So I might have to go. I say soon. I might have to go this year. How far is Cyprus from England, in terms of flight time? Grace says, if you go anywhere in the world, where would you go? Tokyo, but I'm going in February. After that, I'm not sure. I do want to go to Canada again. But it's probably a good thing that I'm not sure, if you know what I mean. My two bucket list places were New York, which I went in February, and Tokyo that I'm going. I don't think I really have any other bucket list places. Maybe Australia, but it's so damn far away. Mo Scout was a 3 times in a row winner, and I'm the favorite to win every single time. But there's a person that has 3 wins, so she may catch up. It's my girlfriend. Tricky. So you're the 5-time champion and she's the 3-time champion. We'll have to wait and see what happens in a week, and you'll have to update us. Zame says, saying New York pizza is better than Italy could get you blacklisted from Italy. It could. Thankfully, I came back from Italy last week. I've already gone. But it was one of the things I wanted to try. I mean, don't get me wrong. Italy pizza was nice. It was good. But I preferred the New York style. So yeah, let's hope any Italians don't hear that. Because then they won't let me in again. Arsenal was hoping for a favour from Chelsea against City, but now with no manager, I can see a thrashing for Chelsea now. I think you're right. Sometimes you have new manager or no manager bounce, but I don't think that will happen. I think you're right. I think Chelsea will probably be in disarray to a certain degree, and they'll probably be panicking a bit. And yeah, I think City will probably batter them. City are just on form right now. Fish says, Google Iron Mouse. I will. Is this another person who I apparently look like? Wait, what? Is it a bloke, but he's pretending to be a cartoon character? You'll need to explain this whole This whole VTuber thing to me, I don't get it. It says there controversy. So was he pretending to be this anime character and then... What's this? No, it says Iron Mouse explains why she'll never do a face reveal. I don't know. You need to explain this concept to me. Mo Scout met her 10 months ago. Nice. Almost a year. You'll have to update me how the game goes. Stephen says, Happy New Year, Umar. Happy New Year to you too, Stephen. You're back to save me from Radio 5 Live again. Indeed I am. How was your New Year? Hope you had a good New Year. Hope you had a good Christmas. I did a bit of shopping at the Liverpool shop. I bought a couple of t-shirts. The label says... So I purchased 3 t-shirts and all the labels say 30 quid. But they were on sale for a tenner. So I bought 3 of them. So that's what I've been doing. Arsenal says it's not safe to go to the hoods alone. Which hood specifically? Ooh, Atlético. What the hell happened there? It looked like Atlético cleared it off the line. Cleared it off Leeds' line. But I'm waiting for a replay. I ended up in Harlem alone at night a year ago. That was an interesting experience. But you'll have to tell me which hoods you are referring to. Mo Scout says, did you know I have a girlfriend? I didn't know previously, but I know now. She's from my 2 teammates' sister. I'm cooked every single football practice because I'm the goalie and they're the attackers. I see. You are cooked, but hopefully you can win the contest that's coming up and then you can cook them back. Arsenal says, trust me, Benny's a weirdo. You don't look like him. Appreciate that. I didn't see the resemblance. King Slot says, from Manchester, Cyprus is 5 hours. Okay. A decent distance, but not too bad. Arsenal says, would suggest you Indonesia, Thailand or Singapore. They're good suggestions. I am keen to explore more of Asia. I'm going to Japan in February, but other than that, I don't think I've ever really been to Asia. So those are good suggestions. I need to explore a bit more. Grace says, I might be going to Ibiza in August. I don't know if I told you. Yeah, you mentioned it. You mentioned it the other day. I think you were saying it was the first time potentially that you had been. But yes, sounds pretty good. I've never been. I think the Ibiza boat might have sailed for me. I think I might be a bit old for Ibiza now. But some of my friends went, I think, when I was in school, but I didn't go. But I've heard it's very nice. It's very popular. And in August, you'll have really good weather. Mo Scout says, please go to Serbia. I mean, I could do. But I hear Man United are very popular in Serbia. So do I need to wear a Man United shirt? Or can I wear a Liverpool shirt? Steven says, as a football fan, go to some European stadiums, the San Siro in particular, or Nou Camp. Those are some good suggestions. I haven't been inside the Nou Camp, but when I went to Barcelona, I had an hour before my flight, and I was in the area, so I've explored the outside of the stadium, which I'm not sure that counts. But I have been like around there, but I've not been inside. But those are some good suggestions, 100%. Taster Tester says, how's it, man? All good, not too bad. Enjoying the new year. How are things with you? Hope you're doing good. How's Solomon? You remember Solomon? I hope Solomon is also doing good. Grace says, why aren't you wearing one of your new t-shirts? That's a good question. I always wash new clothes before I wear them. It's just a thing that I have. I have to wash them first. Because a couple of times I haven't washed new clothes before wearing them, I end up getting sick. And I don't know if it's a placebo or if I'm actually sick. But since then, whenever I get new clothes, I just wash them first and then I can wear them for the first time. Happy New Year to everyone, says Taster Testers. May this new year bring plenty of blessings to you and all your families. And right back at you as well. Appreciate that. Appreciate the kind words. You must be pretty happy with how Arsenal are doing. You absolutely battered Aston Villa the other day, 4-1. And that was without Declan Rice. So things are going very well for you. Yeah, Ekitike did the Nunez from the Frimpong shot. Was that Frimpong shot going in, do you reckon? Keshav says, yo, what's up, man? You remember me? I do remember you. How you doing? How was your New Year's and Christmas? Hope you've been having a good break so far. Arsenal says, dang Harlem, wow, alone. Yes, the thing is, right, it was the day that I went to Central Park. So you know Central Park, which is that huge park in New York. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to walk all the way from the bottom all the way up the top. So I wanted to walk through the whole park. And I did that, no problem. I walked all the way from the bottom of Central Park to all the way the top of Central Park. And then when I got to the top, I was so hungry. And I was really craving Mexican food. So I looked on my phone, where's the nearest Chipotle, which is a nice Mexican restaurant. And they said the nearest Chipotle is 10 minutes that way, 10 minutes east. So then I walked east, and after 5 minutes, I realized I'm not in fancy Central Park anymore. There's people on the streets. There's people with trolleys. There's police cars going past. I'm like, where the hell am I? And then I looked at my phone. East of Central Park, from the north bit, is Harlem. So I was walking through there alone. And I saw a guy with a teardrop tattoo. And I was like, great. So then I got to my Mexican place. I ate really quickly. And then I just got the metro back to my hotel. So yeah, I was a bit nervy. But not too nervy. But I wouldn't do it again. Who do you reckon's been your best player so far, says Tom? Probably Frimpong, but nobody particularly stands out. Grace says, ever been to Spain? Yes, I've been once. Went to Barcelona. It's pretty nice. I like Spain because it's not too far away, which is good. So you're not traveling for too long. But also it's very different to England. So you actually feel like you've been on holiday. Whereas France, as an example, the architecture of the buildings is very similar to England. So you don't fully feel like you've been on holiday because everything looks very the same to what you're used to. Whereas in Spain, everything's different. Getting ready for my New Year's motive Keeman. What's that? Is that Keegan, as in Kevin Keegan from Newcastle? Mo Scout says, oh, do not, I repeat, do not wear United's shirt in Serbia. Repeat, do not. Okay, that's good advice. Because I'd rather not get beaten up. What is the most popular team in Serbia from a club team perspective? Arsenal misses home. I'm from Singapore, but I've been in the UK for 12 years now. Liverpool, but now I'm in the States for work. Wow, you've kind of traveled all over the place. Is it IT work that you do? Whereabouts in the States? I've only been to the US once, which was in February. I went to New York and Philadelphia, which is pretty good. Finley says New Year's is the most pointless thing in the world. By the way, it's just it is just a reason to celebrate. It just makes me more depressed these days, to be honest. I'm like, oh God, another year has gone. Zabe says Frimpong is playing like Josh Murphy. Shame Isak is injured. Yeah, because he would have been the perfect foil for Isak. It's Jacob Murphy, I believe, but close enough. We're growing in the game, but need a goal in the first half since our second half is always worse. Very true. I love Frimpong. He's turning into potentially my favorite player at the moment, but I just want him at right back because I'd rather just overload the attack on the right hand side in terms of having a very attacking right back and then having whoever in the right wing. I just feel like this formation's a bit too pragmatic for Leeds at home, but let's see. Taste the Testers is happy with where Arsenal are at the moment. Let's hope they can finish this time. You're certainly doing all the right things. And the Villa result surprised me. I thought Villa would probably win that one because Villa have been on form recently. And then Arsenal didn't only win it, but won it with 4 goals. It was a very, very convincing display. So things are going quite well. What might make it a bit tougher is Pep is rumored to be getting Semenyo in January. They do have a tendency to strengthen when they're on top, so that does make it a bit more difficult. Grace says, I've noticed there's no Jonathan today. Indeed. There's no Jonathan, which means there's a lot less swearing today. Arsenal says, wow, tell me about it. I was over the moon with our victory, but I have to be humble. City is on our backsides. The thing is with City, they're always there or thereabouts. And I say that from experience of going up against City for 7 years. Even when you think you're doing well, they'll always be there. And they'll always strengthen with the right player at the right time. And the thing that's a bit annoying about them is they know how to win and they know how to deliver trophies. Ooh, Ekatike. Nah, Leeds get back. So it's always a bit nervy when City are around. Keshav says, introduce you to my brother. I was about to say that. I was really close to saying that. But the fact that you almost got me is a good one. Arsenal said you should go to Budapest. I am going to Budapest in 2 weeks. That's the holiday that I booked today. The thing is, right? 40 pounds return flight. 40 pounds for return flight. So not one way. 40 pounds return. I'm staying at. I got a fancy hotel for 60 pounds a night. So I'm doing 3 nights. So 180 quid for hotel plus 40 quid for flights, 220 quid, nothing. So yeah, I am going in a few weeks. Kiman is just come on in Jodi, I see. The most popular team in Serbia is Crvena Zvezda or Partizan. Is that Partizan Belgrade? It's a huge rivalry, right? So I can't wear one of those shirts because then the other team won't like it. I'll have to just stick to generic plain clothing. Milan says, have you ever been to Morocco? It's so nice. I've not been. I was considering going this year, but I booked Budapest instead. But I could go. Could maybe go next year because it's not too far away, which I like. I don't like sitting on a plane for ages. You're in Manhattan, nice. Yeah, I was there in February. Do you like Two Bros Pizza? That's my favorite pizza chain in Manhattan. Two Bros Pizza. Steven says, come to Oldham if you want rain, endless takeaway shops, alcoholism and depression. Oldham, or also Manchester, or also London, or also Liverpool, or also Birmingham, or also Coventry. That is most cities. I like the endless takeaway shops, but the rest of it not so much. Ah, right. So he's got a twin brother called Josh. That makes sense. What are the chances of Liverpool winning the Champions League? Small, not impossible, but small. Fish says, what are your New Year's resolutions? Good question. I don't have any. But do you have any? Yeah, Grace knows my dislike for Brian Mbuemo. That wasn't the video where I was swearing, though, was it? That was I was talking about Brian Mbuti's gigantic backside and the fact that we let his gigantic backside score against us within a minute. To be honest with you, I was more angry at myself than Mbuemo. Taste the Tester says Villa were on a 29-game unbeaten run and you essentially smashed them out of that run. That's the thing, because it wasn't just a 1-0, it was a complete battering. How you doing, Dan? Dan from Banbury. Palace are going to sign Brennan Johnson for 35 million. Yeah, how do you feel about that? Brennan Johnson's one of those players who never seems to ever start, but seems to always come off the bench and get a goal. I will be in Budapest as well for training. Nice. Is this the first time you've been, or do you go there often? I've never been before. First time I'm going. Ah, that's good thinking. I didn't think of that, but that's good thinking. Just wear a Serbian kit, because if you wear a Serbian kit, you're unlikely to upset any particular fans. That's the safest option, I think. Steven says, Budapest is my favourite place on earth. I've been going there for 25 years. You like walking, I love walking. So please walk along the Danube. It's beautiful, also lots of saunas. Is this like near the river? I haven't planned the itinerary yet, but I'm going to write that down. Danube. Because I just booked the holiday today. So I haven't planned it out, but that's a good suggestion. The fact that you've been going there for 25 years, that's a good thing. So that gives me confidence that it's a nice holiday destination. It was one of those places that I'd always wanted to go, but never quite got around to it. And then, as I said, flight was £40, and a nice hotel at this time of the year, because it's a bit colder, was £60. So I had to kind of get on that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Dan says Maresca sacked from Chelsea, which is the big story in the Prem at the moment. Yeah, it just completely came out of nowhere. Did it come out today or yesterday? I can't remember. You know when it's Christmas, New Year's, and you lose track of the days? I think it was today, wasn't it? It just completely came out of nowhere. And I appreciate that Chelsea are not doing amazingly at the moment, but I wouldn't have sacked him. I wouldn't. That seems like a step too far, surely. Apparently they're going to get Liam Rosenior, but we'll have to wait and see. It was half time, so I've stopped the timer, maybe a few minutes back. Arsenal says, Budapest, my favourite city, beautiful views, friendly people, nice food. Good to hear. I went to Prague last year, and looking at Budapest, it reminds me a bit of Prague, and I really liked Prague, so I'm hoping it's quite similar to that. But everybody seems very complimentary. Arsenal's very complimentary. Steven's also very complimentary. So I'm looking forward to it, 100%. Fish does not seem happy, which is not good. Happy New Year to you too, Jeffrey. Do you have any New Year's resolutions? I don't have any, but I'm curious as to whether you do. Grace found it funny that you kept swearing. Yeah, it's if I'm swearing, it's a rare thing. I don't Let me correct that. When I'm watching football, I very rarely swear. If I'm playing computer games, I'll be swearing every 5 seconds to the point where you'll think this is a completely different person. But when I'm watching football, I very rarely swear. So if it's happening during a football match, it's a rare occurrence. But I'm glad people enjoy it. Arsenal is there often. That's why I recommended it to you. Good stuff. Good to hear. I'm looking forward to it a lot more now because everybody seems to love it, which is great. BM says 1-0 to Palace. Are they playing City or who are they playing again? Oh, Fulham. Mateta again. Mateta's one of those players that goes under the radar, but he always seems to score. Wouldn't surprise me if he was to get a move soon. Mo Scout will be playing for Serbia under 13. I'm going to be goalie first match. Is a friendly against Scotland under 13. Nice. When is that? Is that soon or is that later in the year? Taster Tester says, who has the most difficult next 5 fixtures? Arsenal or Man City? Let's have a look. So Arsenal fixtures. Arsenal have got Liverpool, but you've got us at, I was going to say at Highbury. Emirates. Not Highbury. So you've got, let me move it, adjust it so you can see it. So Arsenal have got Bournemouth, Liverpool. I'll ignore the FA Cup. Let's ignore the FA Cup. So you've got Bournemouth, Liverpool, Chelsea, Forest, and Inter. I think that's pretty tough. I think that's if I was to give that a difficulty score at a 10, maybe 7.5. Who was the other one? Man City fixtures. Whereas, City have got Chelsea, but it's probably a good time to play Chelsea since they don't have a manager. City, Brighton. Let's ignore the cups. United, Bodo Glimt, Wolves. I think Arsenal have the more difficult fixtures in the short term, 100%. Jeffrey says, what do you think of the game so far? It's okay. Nothing really stands out, to be honest with you. There was the Frimpong opportunity that Ekatike seemed to head in completely the wrong direction. But other than that, nothing really sticks out. How are you finding it? Grace can watch footy now. Good to hear. Arsenal says same. In fact, City has Chelsea and Arsenal have Liverpool, but all teams are hard. We don't know who might beat us on the day. That's true. Especially with the depth of even quote-unquote average teams these days. Even average teams have match winners in them. So you're right. I just remember when I was doing Champions League predictions for Liverpool earlier in the season, and I was going through the fixtures, and I was essentially saying, "Oh, Galatasaray will beat them easily. Oh, PSV will beat them easily," and they ended up battering us. Milan says Maresca didn't get sacked. Yeah, it was a mutual thing. It was but whenever it's mutual, it makes me think they're kind of pushing you. It's not like Maresca just woke up and said, I've had enough. It feels like he was pressured internally. Dan says the Maresca sacking was mid-morning. Yeah, that's it, yeah. It was definitely today. Stephen says, just start in the south, walk north along the river as far as you can. Good advice, because I do like my walking. Whenever I'm on holiday, I do eat quite unhealthily, but I work it off, I hope, with the walking. I'll walk about 10 to 15 miles a day if I'm on holiday. So that's some good advice. Arsenal's also clarified it was today, but there was a rumour on his sacking, but sacking Maresca is stupid. At this rate, they might bring back Mourinho. I would love to say it just for how funny that would be. Just for how funny that would be. Taste the Tester says, that's typical Chelsea, sacking a manager after winning Club World Cup. It's not a surprise to me. That's a good point. They did it with Mourinho, didn't they? They sacked him after winning the Premier League. I believe they sacked Di Matteo after winning the Champions League. Sacked Tuchel after winning the Champions League. They're definitely a sacking club. Grace is watching darts later. Hopefully, if my mom lets me stay up. Is this the Luke Littler? I'll be honest. I don't really watch it, so I'm not too familiar with it. But a lot of people are hating on him now. Is there? But I don't really know what the reason is. Fitzy says, what do you think of Frimpong so far? He's been alright, but he's playing like what you'd expect a right back to do when they're playing right wing. Like, I'd rather he just play right back and Liverpool have an attacking right winger. It's in a couple of months. Nice. Something to look forward to. Hoping for a Sunderland win today, says Arsenal. Not an easy place to travel. Is that the late kickoff, that one? Just having a quick look. Yeah, so late kickoff, 8 o'clock, Sunderland, Man City. Arsenal, naturally, is hoping for a Sunderland win. It could happen. It could happen given how Sunderland are doing this year. Unlikely. Like, if you put a gun to my head, I'd say City are going to win. But it's not outside the realm of possibility. Ibra says his Vert's injured. I don't believe so. I was going to call you Fish, and then you reminded me not to call you Fish anymore. I have to call you Juice World. Juice World says, who's the better Fernando for Liverpool, Torres or Morientes? It would be Torres. I feel like Morientes joined Liverpool towards the latter end of his career. What I always find funny is when Morientes joined, he played the first game, even though he wasn't fully fit, because that's how desperately Liverpool needed a striker. So he literally arrived on the Thursday and then they stuck him with the team on Saturday. But Morientes never really reached the heights, if I'm honest with you. Grace says, who's Maresca? I was going to say Chelsea's manager, but I have to say Chelsea's former manager. He got sacked. Sorry, not sacked. He left on mutual terms today from Chelsea. So he's not their manager anymore, but he was their manager yesterday. Taste the Testers hope Sunderland will give them a sneaky 1-0. It's not impossible, especially since Sunderland are at home and Sunderland are flying in the league. Arsenal says, we did not expect Wolves to draw against United, so for me, no team is easy. That's a good point. We might need to make an exception for the rule, given that it's United and they tend to be terrible at most at most things. But I take the point. It shows that you can never take anything for granted. Even a team who has had 2 points all season can take points off you. I think you're right. And equally, you could argue that's what makes the Premier League so exciting. Whereas typically in La Liga or the French League or the Bundesliga, like in the Bundesliga, Bayern Munich are going to win. In La Liga, Barcelona are going to win or Real Madrid are going to win. Whereas in the Premier League, it's a bit more tricky. I think that's what makes the Premier League more interesting. I don't believe so, Ibra. I don't believe Wirtz is injured. Unless I've missed something, which wouldn't be the first time. Grace says it's because they don't want him to win. They want the underdog to win. I see. But you mentioned you like Luke. So if you like Luke, I'm happy to also support Luke. Florian Wirtz is on his phone at halftime before he goes out for the second half. Says thoughts on Ordonez to Liverpool. Well, he's called Joel. His first name is Joel. And the last centre back that Liverpool had called Joel was pretty good. So I think that's a positive. That's a good sign. To be honest with you, I watched a highlight video of him. It looks pretty good. He's a very good passer of the ball. Interesting. What I found interesting was a lot of his highlights were passing, which is important. But yeah, he looked good. He's Ecuadorian, from what I recall. First name is Joel. Quite good in the air. Very fast. There'd be quite a few times where the opposition's attacking midfielder would play a through ball and he'd just run out from the defense and scoop up the through ball. So if the price is right, I'd be happy with that. I agree with Jeffrey. This game hasn't got a spark. I want the attack to attack quicker. 100%. I want a lot more energy. Wirtz is out for the second half, I think. Earlier, Ibro was asking, is he injured? But Wirtz is out for the second half. Yeah, we just want a lot more energy. What do you think the reason for that is? I've noticed there's Robertson instead of Kirkes. Could that be a reason? Additionally, there's no McAllister. Could that be a reason? Additionally, and again, I didn't like this at the start and I still don't like it now. There's Frimpong and Bradley. For me, that's too defensive. Have Frimpong as your right back and somebody else ahead of him. Florian Wirtz, who is on the pitch but he's also here, says we could get Ramos. I saw that, Goncalo Ramos. I wouldn't mind him. The only aspect that concerns me about that is if Liverpool were to get Ramos on loan, that would insinuate that the Isak injury is a lot more serious. So whilst it would be a positive, it would also concern me a bit because it means Isak is a lot more hurt than they've been led us to believe. Xavi to Chelsea could happen. 2-0 for the second half, says Florian Wirtz. Well, hopefully you get a goal and assist. I'm just going to start. Frimpong's a lot more advanced. I thought that was a chance, but nothing happened. Arsenal says, you travel a lot. Are you paid to travel like me? I used to be in my 20s. So in my 20s, I used to work in consulting. So I'd have clients all over the world. I did a lot of traveling nationally, to be honest, not internationally. So a lot of traveling to London, a lot of traveling to Scotland. I did have some international travel for work back in the day. So I went to Netherlands, went to Belgium, went to Romania. But that was my old job. But now I don't get paid to travel. now it comes out of my own pocket. So I used to back in the day when I used to work in consulting. Do you think Wolves still have players worth bringing to a top 6 club? I'm not sure. Maybe Strand Larson, but I just feel like all the quality from Wolves has just been like sucked out. Like an orange, they've been squeezed like an orange. You just can't squeeze that orange anymore. They lost Ait Nouri, they lost Cunha. I'm not sure who else they have that's of a high level of quality, to be honest with you. Fratman says, hello man. How you doing, Frat? I'm proper behind, but I'm catching up. Oh, he's the world number 1. Fair enough. Makes sense. You heard Manquillo retired? I did not know that. Is this Javi Manquillo who used to play for Liverpool and used to play for Newcastle? That one. Paul says hi. How's it going, Paul? Chicken Wing says, "Did you celebrate Christmas?" Not explicitly, but I did. I did get a Chinese takeaway that day. I don't know if that counts. Hwang Hee Chan. I enjoy Hwang. Needs a better club. Not that Wolves are bad, but I think there's just too many managerial changes happening there for the players to gel properly. You could be onto something. I think for gelling and consistency to occur, you do need a degree of stability. And perhaps the constant... that's good by Bradley. But perhaps the constant instability of managerial changes is just having a detrimental effect. So you could be onto something. Hwang Hee Chan, he's a... If the price is right, I wouldn't expect anything ludicrous. I don't know what you'd consider the right price for Hwang. And I guess the right price is dependent on how long his contract is left. But 20, 30 million maybe, something like that. Arsenal says Ecuadorian players are booming. Take note. Arsenal, Hinge Cape, the twins Arsenal sign, next big thing. And also that Joel, what's his name? Ordonez. If they're booming, they could be... Wirtz is trying to move the ball too quickly and he's giving the ball away. If this continues, they could be serious challengers for some of the international trophies, which is always good. Jeffrey mentions, what about Bradley Barcola? He'd be an option. Out of all the PSG players, I'd rather have Kvaratskhelia. I know that's not going to happen. I know that's not going to happen now, but I'd rather have Kvaratskhelia. If the price was right, maybe. I just don't see... I mean, it could happen. But I just feel like Barcola would be around the £100 million mark, and I'm not sure Liverpool would spend that after spending 70 odd on Ekitike and 120 odd on Isak. But if the price was right, as a player, he's quite good. I say quite good. A lot of that would hinge on the price. Darwin's toenail says 6-7, indeed. Arsenal says Brendan Johnson has joined Palace. Oh, wow, okay. Last I saw that was rumoured to be happening, so he's joined. Palace are not messing about. 1st of January, they've already got a signing. Gray says, please don't spoil anything. I'm only on the 46th minute. I'll try. I think we might... I think I'm just slightly ahead, yeah. Just slightly ahead. Because that was from a few minutes ago. I'll try my best. I'll try my best to remain stone-faced if Liverpool score. Arsenal says Leeds are so scary, actually. They got a last-minute goal against us in the reverse fixture earlier in the season. I think we drew 3-3 with them. They're one of those teams that always seem to do pretty well against Liverpool. I don't know if it's a case of it being the Northern Derby, but they do seem to quite often do well against Liverpool. Taster Tester says £20 million for Hwang, take it or leave it. I think that's a fair price, and I think that's a good price. Especially if Wolves get relegated. I'm not sure if there's a relegation release clause in his contract. To be honest, there probably is, but irrespective of that, I think the 20 million that you've mentioned, I think that's a fair price. Come on, Liverpool, do something. Harry says you'll never walk alone. How's it going, Harry? AZ says we have to finish better. 100%. We have to finish better and we have to create more. Bradley's in the... Why is Connor Bradley in the number 9 position? Somebody just crossed it in and it was Connor Bradley headering it. Why is Connor Bradley playing striker? Liverpool have to finish better, as AZ said, and Liverpool also have to create better. Frimpong's in the middle now. Frimpong's doing a inverted right back type of thing. Szoboszlai's wide right. Although he did a pretty good cross there. They've certainly changed the formation a bit. Steven says, please stay on and do Sunderland versus City and save me from Sky commentary. I wish I could. Unfortunately, I will not be available at that time. But I wish I was. Yeah, Connor Bradley is playing striker. Grace says, when are you next live? I believe it's Sunday. I think Liverpool playing somebody on Sunday. Arsenal says, I mean, I'm so happy with the stability Arteta has brought. Because we have not won anything other than the FA Cup, but at least I can see the Graham era, as in the George Graham era, Wenger era is back. Yeah, I think that's fair. He certainly... I think after Wenger, there was a level of instability. After Wenger, did you have Emery straight away, or was there somebody before Emery? I can't even remember. But I think during that time, there was a bit of instability. You can certainly say Arteta has stabilized the club. What I quite liked is he got rid of a lot of the kind of egos, the big names. He got rid of the Lacazettes, he got rid of the Aubameyangs, and he stabilized and baselined the club. So that is good. But the flip side is stability is only a 7 out of 10. And I guess you want a 9 out of 10, which is a Premier League or a Champions League. That's the way I see it. So stability is a 7 out of 10, which is good. Stability is good, but you're probably going to want the 9 out of 10, which is a Champions League or a Premier League. So it'll be interesting to see what happens now. And it will be interesting to see how City react. Charlotte says Docena, Moreno or Kirkes. Andrea Docena was not great. And I always found it weird how a left back had number 2. Left back should not be number 2. Right back should be number 2. Left back should be number 3. So I always found that weird. Moreno, let's not speak about him, or Kirkes. Kirkes, it seems a bit unfair to judge because he's just starting his Liverpool career, but I'd probably still go with Kirkes. Grace says, no, Sunday's too long. Yeah, it is a while back. It gives me time to wash my new shirts. Maybe I'll wear one of these. Oh, they do have like a Liverpool logo on them. I'm not sure people can say it. So it gives me time to do laundry. Taster Tester says, I think Arteta's got more spending freedom this season, so I'm grateful that the owners still have faith in him to do something. But if you added up all the signings he's done, over $1 billion. Good point. It works. It works both ways. I think in many ways it's the opposite of the Chelsea. So you could say Chelsea maybe don't give managers enough time, whereas Arsenal have given the manager a sufficient amount of time. I think it's highly dependent on what happens this season. I don't know if the fans and I don't know if the ownership will be happy with second. I almost feel like if Arteta finds himself in second place, then he just has to risk it and either finish first or finish third. I think he's got to do that. If he finds himself in second place, just risk it. Just risk it. Try and go for the first, and you might flop and you might go third, but I just feel like he has to try. It might around Arsenal in particular that there does seem to be it does seem to be quite a pressured situation at the end of the season, I find. But it could be because of what's happened before. I just think if he finishes second again, then it might Arsenal might make a change, but equally to make a change you need to get somebody competent in. You could very well go from second and then get somebody else in and suddenly start finishing fourth and fifth, and then that's not good either. So it's tough. It's tough to call. It's tough to call. But I'm excited to see it. Zaim says, Chiesa, Gakpo and Rio on the bench. Do you think Slot will make the right subs? I don't think so. I don't think he'll make the right subs. I think what will happen is Gakpo will come on. Chiesa might as well just get a colouring book and just start colouring it in on the sidelines, because it's like, bro, you're not going to get on the pitch. And I mean, speaking of colouring books, he could probably borrow one from Rio, given that he's about 12 years old. So I think, Sabazlai, I think Gakpo will come on. And unfortunately, Chiesa is unlikely to, and I'd say Rio is very unlikely to. But I'd like to see attacking substitutions. This for me is too defensive, and I said it at the start. It's too defensive. Why are there two right backs? I know Frimpong plays right wing for Netherlands, but that's more out of necessity, because Netherlands have an abundance of right backs. They have Dumfries. They have... is there a penalty check? They have Dumfries. They have Gertrude. So whilst Frimpong does play right wing, it's more out of necessity. No, it's not. It's a free kick, edge of the box. Edge of the box. Arteta has been very steady, but I don't... You have the feeling that he might leave one day for Barcelona. Did he ever play for Barcelona back in the day, Mikel Arteta? I know he was at Everton. I know he was at Arsenal. But I feel like he might have done. Grace says, why'd you make me wait 3 days? I base it around when Liverpool tend to play most of the time. But it depends who's playing on Saturday. Yeah, Saturday might be a bit tough. Verts with the free kick. Oh, I'm not allowed to say, because Grace says if they score, don't say anything. But can I say something if it's the worst free kick I've ever seen? Because that's what has just transpired. Taster Testers believes Arteta will go to Real Madrid. Barcelona seems like they've lost interest. Who's Madrid's current manager? It's Alonso. It's a possibility. I think Madrid might be back in for Zidane if Zidane doesn't go to France. I've got a weird feeling Klopp might go to Madrid. I got a weird feeling, because Klopp's done Germany, he's done England, he's not done Spain. I got a weird feeling Klopp might go there. Grace says thank you. Yeah, it was a terrible free kick. Arsenal says, somebody's warming up with very nice hair. Oh, it's Kirkes. They just showed him from the back, and I was thinking, who is that? Arsenal have been a club like Liverpool as well. We don't sack coaches too often. We give them time. Wenger, 22 years, and we need to remember City have the spending power. It's tough to find the right balance in terms of giving somebody enough time versus giving someone too much time. Very good pass by. Nothing. Very good link up between Wirtz and Frimpong. You can tell that they've played together for many years. I'd say with the whole Arteta situation, people often say sack him, sack Arteta, sack Slot, sack Amorim, sack whoever. And I always say sacking a manager is only one half of the equation. The second half of the equation is who is available on the market to replace him. You can't just sack him and then think your job's done. We have to sack him, and then who are we going to replace him with? People often don't consider the second part, which I find a bit wild. Maybe people react with their emotions rather than their head. Sack Arteta, sack Slot, sack Amorim. Okay, but who are you going to replace him with? People very rarely think more than one step ahead. Arsenal reckons Liverpool will win it late or an upset. I reckon it might be 1-0 Liverpool. Liverpool have been on top. They have been hammering the door. Fortunately, yet to get through, but they do look the more likely to score. There was a like. I've been doing so well, to be fair. I feel like I've been doing very well not saying that four-letter word. So I slipped up, but since you forgive me, that's the most important thing. There was one stream maybe a few weeks ago when I just kept saying it every 2 seconds. I think I've improved since, which is a good thing. Yeah, it's gonna be a tight game. In all honesty, I don't want Arteta to go. He's done well for... I forgot that, to be fair, that this is his first big job. This is his first big job. Gakpo's coming on because of course he is. Because of course he's coming on. So Slot's son is coming on in Gakpo. McAllister's coming on. And Kirkes is coming on. Okay, so who's coming off? Wirtz is coming off. What are you doing? Robertson's coming off. Fine. Because if you're bringing Kirkes on. So Wirtz is off. Robertson is off. Gakpo is on. Kirkes is on. And I believe Curtis Jones is off for McAllister. Gakpo replacing Wirtz. Alex is asking. Let me just catch up. LFC Moose says Slot is so out of his depth. It's mental how much he dragged us back in time with his slow play. The slow play is very boring. I can't lie. I don't understand why he so radically changed the setup compared to what we had last year. It's more possession based, which I understand, but equally, if you have possession, do something with the possession. He always says this thing in interviews whereby it's not about... He says his football is similar to Klopp, but it's more about waiting for the right opportunity rather than taking a risk, which is fine in practice, but in reality, if you wait forever for the right opportunity, the perfect opportunity, sometimes the perfect opportunity doesn't come. And before you know it, you've wasted half the game. Arsenal says he was from the famous La Masia background, just never got the chance. Ended up in PSG with Mauricio Pochettino. Yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense. Okay. Barcelona B team, not the first team. I guess it was tough to break into that first team when you had your Xavis, your Iniestas, your Busquets. You could even argue Thiago Alcantara also could not break into that and actually go to Bayern. They just had an abundance of talent at that time. We need City to lose today. I'm with you on that. Grace says, if Slot got sacked, who would you want to replace him? It depends who's available. I'm not convinced the manager market is all that great. People say Alonso, and whilst Alonso would be good, I'm still a bit bitter in the sense that if he turned us down, you know what I mean? If he turned us down to go to Madrid and then Madrid sack him and then we take him back, does that send the wrong message? I don't know. I'd want some sort of attacking manager because this football's boring as hell. Have Liverpool got a penalty? Please have a penalty because that's the only way we can win games, but I don't think so. Is that yeah, it is the 2026 version. Yeah, as Alex says, Wirtz has played well the last few games. So it's disappointing to see him come off at 65 minutes. And for Gakpo in particular. Stephen mentions you've improved greatly. Ooh, Van Dijk header, very close. You've improved greatly and I thank you. I will accept the odd like from you over a studio of 5 people all talking over each other with football cliches and laughing like hyenas at nothing. Yeah, there's only so much It's a Game of Two Halves you can handle. I was watching something on some studio the other day. Yesterday actually, and they were talking about the Wolves Man United game, and then they went into this 5-minute monologue, and it might have been longer than 5 minutes. I only know it was 5 minutes because that's when I turned it off. They went into this 5-minute monologue about how it's not the same Man United anymore. They're not a big team anymore. But how is this a revolutionary monologue in 2026? You've said the same thing in 2025 and 2024 and 2023 and 2022 and 2021. Do they really need to say, oh, it's not the same United anymore? Like, we know that. We know that. We know they're rubbish. Is that honestly the best talking point? So that irritated me. It was Frank Leboeuf, actually. I'm like, yeah, we know it's not the same United anymore. You need to say the same cliche for a decade. Come up with some new talking points. Zame says Gakpo just passed Kirkers. No way. I think I've just seen a pig fly across the sky. I hope that will be a plural. I hope it's just not one pass and then he's then he's done with his passing for the day. Arsenal heard Mark Gahey is on the verge of joining Madrid. The other reason is no Premier League clubs are allowed to speak to Gahey, so Gahey's glued with Madrid and Munich. Yeah, I believe from the 6 months it's only foreign clubs, and I believe English clubs is from the 3 months. To be honest, I don't really see Mark Gahey joining Madrid. He just, the vibe I get from him is he's I don't know, and this might be completely wrong. I just get the vibe that he'd rather stay in England. He doesn't strike me as a Madrid player. So hopefully he's just using them to get a bit more money, because I wouldn't mind him. As Callum says, Gakpo replacing Wirtz is a joke. Indeed it is. And especially at 65 minutes. I mean, come on, man. Grace says, Calvert-Lewin came on, we might be cooked. He does have a tendency to score against Liverpool, especially given his Everton history. Slot looks clueless on the sidelines. Raj says, Liverpool are 30, bro. MUFC forever. Are we saying MUFC are forever 30? I can't lie. Liverpool have been very boring recently. Arsenal says Austrian coaches are good. Glasner from Palace, Ralph Ragnick, they are the best in the market currently. Glasner has done very well at Palace. So he'd be a good option. I appreciate someone like a Liverpool or an Arsenal would be a big step up, but equally they all have to take a step up at a certain point. I'd be ooh, that was Ekitike with a shot there. Oh come on, it's been 75 minutes and they still haven't scored. This is not a good sign. But Glasner, I think additionally with Glasner, his contract I believe is up soon, which will make him available. So we'll have to see where he ends up. Taste the testers would rather take Vitinha. Vitinha is amazing, especially in the Champions League. He seems to have man of the match performances coming out of his backside, and he just looks so effortless doing it. Stephen's hatred for 5 Live is partially due to the scripted cliches. Everyone is trying to be a comedian and every game has to be hyped up as amazing, unbelievable, stunning, and a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Or occasion, should I say. I know what you mean. I find it extremely irritating. Of that list, it's the cliches that irritate me the most. I just beg, can they say something original? Something to break the mold. But unfortunately, it doesn't happen. Grace says, W streamer, appreciate that, Grace. Gakpo press. Zayn mentioned that Gakpo passed to Kerkers, and I did raise, was that just the one-off that he's not going to do again? Kerkers just there, passed to Gakpo, did an amazing overlap, but Gakpo decided to do his cut inside and completely ignored Kerkers. I've got a bad feeling this is going to end 0-0. Callum McFarlane is the caretaker coach for Chelsea against City. That's it at Stamford Bridge. Easy win for City. Yeah, that might be double figures. How many goals is Haaland going to score against Callum? Is it going to be... How many hat-tricks is Callum going to score? Oh my God, Chiesa's coming on. Am I seeing this correctly? I'm in shock. Okay, so here's an interesting point. Chiesa is coming on. Please, 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 and I'll say it 3 more times to make it 9 times. Please, 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 come on for Bradley. Because if you need a goal, move Frimpong back to right back. And come on for Bradley and put Chiesa right wing. Please do not come on for Frimpong. We need Frimpong's aggression and strength and pace and enthusiasm. Charlotte says totally true. Please, I just hope he comes on for Bradley. Not that I don't like Bradley. I think Bradley's great. But if you need a goal, move Frimpong to right back and put Chiesa on in Frimpong's position. Alex misses Klopp's football so much. I do miss it. It was extremely entertaining. Especially what Liverpool had before that. Brendan Rodgers football, Kenny Dalglish football, Roy Hodgson football. Let's not consider that. Rafa Benitez football, Gerard Houllier football, Roy Evans football. Of all the footballs that Liverpool have played, the Klopp one was the most interesting and the most fun to watch. Taste the Tester says it would be funny if a cat ran onto the pitch and scored for Liverpool. I mean, a cat would probably outperform all of our attack at the moment, so it would not surprise me. If and when that happens, let's see if we can get the cat to sign a contract and potentially play up front permanently. Grace says, who was it that was doing your head in on that TikTok video because he wouldn't pass? I don't remember it, but given the context of what you said, I am almost certainly confident that it's Curtis Jones. Curtis Jones has a tendency to not pass the ball, or at the very least pass the ball far too late, pass the ball after the opportunity has gone. I'm fairly confident that would have been Curtis Jones. There'll be a striker standing there, and there'll be a diameter around him of 100 meters when nobody is near him, but Curtis Jones just won't pass it. Curtis Jones would rather swivel on the ball like he's a ballerina. And when he does decide to pass it, it will be far too late. It was only the one time, wasn't it? I've only seen Gakpo pass once as soon as they came on. I think I might... okay. Chiesa is on for Bradley, so I'm getting what I want. So Frimpong is going to go right back and Chiesa is going to be right wing. Okay, this is... At least I'm getting what I want here. Our slow football doesn't ignite the Anfield crowd, which in turn doesn't help the on-the-pitch performances. That is very true. It's a bit of a domino effect. Football is lethargic, which in turn doesn't excite the crowd. And if the crowd are not excited, it just makes the players feel even more lethargic. And then we end up watching this nonsense. I'm happy with this sub. This is perhaps one of the few subs that I've been happy with. So he's taken Bradley off, he's put Chiesa on, and Frimpong has gone right back. This is better at least. They got 10 minutes to do something. But I just worry whenever the ball goes to Gakpo. You just know what he's going to do. He's going to ignore Kerkez. He's going to cut inside onto his right foot and he's going to smack it. Kerkez will be in a mile of space, but without the ball because Gakpo has refused to pass it. And Gakpo's shot will go into the head of the first defender. Fucking Calvert-Lewin. But it's offside. I was going to blame Grace for that because Calvert-Lewin just scored, but it's offside. Oh, Jesus. I mean, the flag was up. I'm waiting to see the replay. He was just off. Yeah, you might have jinxed it earlier. But thankfully, it's just. I think it's just off. Thankfully, it's a weird one because Calvert-Lewin and Van Dijk are standing in the same space, but if my middle finger's Calvert-Lewin's leg, this is Calvert-Lewin's leg. Calvert-Lewin's leg is definitely further out. Ouch. So they're standing in the same spot, but Calvert-Lewin has a leg further out. And I think it's been fully disabled. Sorry, not disabled. Disallowed because they're not checking it on VAR. Arsenal says, I think Slot has some personal issue with Chiesa. I agree. It's something we will perhaps find out about. It's one of those things we'll probably find out about eventually in 5 years when nobody cares anymore. But I think you're right. Taste the Testers is off now. Enjoy the rest of your evenings, everyone. Stay safe and stay well. Once again, Happy New Year as well. May all your goals you set yourself be achieved in record time. Appreciate that. Same to you. Take care. Enjoy your evening. Grace says player of the match. Can I say nobody? Can I say me for having to sit through and watch this? What's happening? Oh, Jesus, they've cleared it. Yeah, you were you were correct. Donny says soon fired slot. I just I don't know, to be honest. It's a possibility, but they'd have to have somebody available to take over. Arsenal says, tell you what, Calvert-Lewin has been a breath of fresh air. He has. He was always pretty good for Everton as well back in the day. And he always scores against Liverpool. But thankfully that was disallowed. Charlotte says, can Liverpool adapt formation within games to accommodate all new attackers? To be honest, they don't seem to be doing that. They seem to just rigidly be sticking to a 4-3-3, and they'll play three of them randomly. Oh my God, Rio is coming on. What is happening? Rio is coming on. What? I mean, I'm happy, but Rio is coming on. Oh my God, Rio is growing facial hair. I've not seen that before. Yeah. I mean, I'm in shock. Rio is on for Frimpong. Wow, okay, good. Good. So in answer to Zame's question earlier, I think Zame was asking, do you think Gakpo and Chiesa and Rio are going to come on? And I was essentially saying there's no way that's going to happen. I guess I was wrong because they're all on the pitch. Alex says, what's our formation? It looks like Rio and Ekitike are central. Gakpo is left, Chiesa is right. So it's perhaps a 4-2-4 of sorts. They're just trying to load the box with a 4-2-4. Arsenal says, it's been a lazy day for me. Have a flight on Monday. Night stop in Doha. Wow. Where is this for Budapest, or are you going Singapore to Budapest? Is this the flight, or is it a different flight? Rio might score, says Arsenal. I hope he does. I'll be super happy with that. We can at least be happy that the manager has made positive substitutions today. So at least he's trying to win the match, I guess. It has made Liverpool a bit more fragile at the back, but I guess that's what you'd expect if you take defenders off and bring strikers on. He's going for it. He's taking the risk, which is the right thing to do. Because a draw would not be acceptable. Banana, apple, or strawberry? I would say strawberry 1, banana 2, apple 3. But banana flavored things are very good. So I was having a lot of banana flavored gelato in Rome last week, and it was amazing. So banana flavored things like banana flavored ice cream, banana flavored milkshakes, those would be number 1. Arsenal says banana all day. I hear that. Fluffy says, yo, how we looking? It's alright, but Liverpool are knocking at the door, but just failing to get through, to be honest with you. Liverpool have brought a bunch of strikers on now. So Liverpool have Ekitike on the pitch, and Liverpool have Gakpo on the pitch, and Liverpool have Chiesa on the pitch, and hear this, Liverpool have Rio and Gamoa on the pitch. So they are going for it. David says Liverpool need a decent striker, pure rubbish up front. A decent striker, and also generally a bit more energy in their play. I just feel like Liverpool take far too long to get going. Don't show the required level of urgency. And then it results in a nervy finish. Fluffy says Happy New Year, and to you also. Banana bread is pretty good. A lot of love for banana. Arsenal says banana cakes are my favourite. Steven says bananas as they go in pancakes, bread, cakes and smoothies. A lot more versatile. A lot more versatile a fruit. Although you are making me very hungry now. But that's fine. I can't believe I've never thought of that. Our style of play should be called sloth ball for how slow it is. You might be onto something. I mean, if anything, I'm annoyed I didn't think of that. Because it's so obvious, but it's also so true. Grace had banana. Is that Yazoo, the milkshake, instead of strawberry? Because it was so loud. It was nice. Banana flavored stuff's great. Banana milkshake's great. Banana ice cream's great. Banana pudding's great. Banana is an underrated fruit. Arsenal says, will anyone be in the States for the World Cup? It depends if it depends if they can get in. When I went in February, I just had to do the standard TSA entry, so the fingerprints and the blah 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 blah. But now I don't know if they're gonna do the whole 5 years of social media, but I feel like that might be a bit off-putting to certain people. Yazoo is Grace's favorite drink. That's a good choice. Pretty good for you as well. Especially in comparison to what most people drink these days. Don't let them score. Don't let them score. Okay, they hit it over. 6 minutes of injury time. Arsenal says Daniel Farke is pretty good. He is good. Zaim says we have so many attacking players but not many in the box. You are right. It's just Ekitike up top by himself. Chiesa, Gakpo and Rio are in the midfield positions, if that makes sense. Whereas Ekitike is still up top by himself. All ball to feet players, especially with Frimpong off and Kirkers never getting the ball when he makes off the ball runs. Chiesa probably with a dive there, if I'm honest. Probably dived in the box there, if I'm honest with you. Yeah, it's very similar. So none of them are particularly tall, so it's not really ball to head, other than maybe Ekitike. Also, very ball to feet rather than ball ahead of you and you run onto it. Maybe they need to switch it up a bit. So play it to Ekitike's head. And of the players on the pitch, maybe Rio is probably the fastest because he's got that youthful energy. So maybe play the ball ahead of him so he can run onto it. Maybe that's the way to try and mix it up a bit. Grace says, Lord have mercy, please don't lose. Yeah, I think we're all in that boat currently. Arsenal says, I've got another 2 years and I'm back in the UK, but I hope Arsenal win it this year so I can come back and celebrate at London Bridge. Sounds like a plan. Sounds like a pretty good plan. Liverpool have looked a lot, not a lot, but a bit more fragile since they've made these subs. But I guess they had to do that. I guess they had to take a risk because a draw would not really be acceptable. Arsenal says, "Are you based in Liverpool? Not in Liverpool, but not too far away. It's one train ride away." Charlotte says, do you enjoy the match? It's not the worst I've ever seen, but it's not the best either. Ekitike running past the whole team. Cross it! Does cross it, but cleared. Good play by Ekitike, but his cross was cleared and now it's a corner. Even if Liverpool get a goal, is it really acceptable to have to wait this long? Come on, Chiesa. Why are you taking 10 seconds to take a throw in when it's almost 94 minutes? Arsenal says Manchester, I presume. I've only actually ever been to Manchester once, I think. Probably about 10 or 15 years ago. More like 15, to be honest. I reckon there's probably one more chance in this. Good play by Rio. At least he beats his player. But it's tough to score when they have every player in the box. But you can't really blame them for that. They're doing what they got to do. Arsenal's favourite city is Glasgow. I don't know if I've ever been to Glasgow. I've been to Edinburgh a lot because I used to work near there, but I'm not sure I've ever been to Glasgow. I might be missing out. I might have to pay a visit. Problem is, you take Wirtz off at 65 minutes. Where's the creativity? Van Dijk's playing centre forward. So Liverpool have a back three of Konate, Szoboszlai and Kyrgyz. Zaim says, it's a positive seeing Rio play, a breath of fresh air, needs more minutes. 100%. Whenever he gets the ball, he looks dangerous. He looks volatile, and I say that as a positive thing. You don't know what he's going to do. And again, he beats the fullback, cuts inside. He's so pacey and he's so unpredictable. We 100% need more than that. I don't know why Alisson is I don't know why Alisson's doing that. John says, possibly brother of Michael, says Liverpool failing yet again. Well, it can't be Liverpool if they're failing. That doesn't make sense. Full time, says Tom. Yeah, full time. Well, that was rubbish. Leeds defended very well, but that's good for them. That shouldn't be an excuse. The only player who looked kind of dangerous was probably Rio. At least when he came on, at least he was trying things. At least he'd beat his fullback. At least he was making use of his pace. At least he was making use of his aggression. Everybody else just looked slow and tired. Everybody else was playing like they just ate Christmas dinner half an hour ago. But at least Rio had a bit of pace about him. Yeah, that wasn't good enough. Also, they've reverted the formation back. It feels like more of a 4-3-3 again. There was that time period where they were playing 2 up top, and that seemed to work better. Keep Kerkez out wide. It was Bradley at the time, but keep Bradley out wide. Keep Frimpong out wide. Pack the midfield. And have 2 up top. They tend to do that. They tend to do that when they're desperate, and then they'll win a few games, and then they'll just revert back to the 4-3-3, which does absolutely nothing. Yeah, losing points at home, it is frustrating, especially when you just look at the prices of some of the players on the pitch. Grace says, "Oh man, you ending the live now. Now I have to wait 3 more days for company." Yeah, probably end in the next couple of minutes. Yeah, stop the timer. That's a good reminder. Oh, there we go. Jeffrey said, I think Jeffrey has summarized that perfectly by saying 30. Garbage, wasn't it? Just that fan just got a shirt and then sniffed it. What's that about? That fan just got a Leeds shirt. Just got a Leeds shirt and then did this, then did that. What's that about? That's kind of horrible. You've had a sweaty player. You've had a sweaty player running around. Why are you sniffing his shirt? But yeah, it's just the same. It's just the same rubbish. Alex says Ekatike should have gone to Grand. Yeah, could have done. Chiesa was going to grind anytime he got the ball. Grace says, "You like me tagging you in vids?" Yeah, it's good. Some funny stuff in there, 100%. Arsenal says, "Thanks, buddy. Looking forward for your stream. Have a blessed new year. You too. Take care. Have a good flight." Sam says, "Why did we bring in Gakpo?" I think the manager probably saw your username. You know where you've got the Zs. Arne Slot decided, you know what? I need a few Zs. I need to fall asleep. So he decided to bring Gakpo on so he could do just that. But it is what it is. I shall be back on Sunday. Hopefully see some of you guys then. Take care, Arsenal. Take care, Grace. At least he didn't shoot every time he cut in. He did it most of the time. He did it most of the time he cut in. There's just so many problems. I just can't begin to open that up. RSD says, "We're not very good. This was our worst game." It was bad. It was bad. Complete lack of creativity. Complete lack of energy. Is it insulting to say I felt like the best player was Rio, the 17-year-old who came on for the last 5 minutes? What more can you say? Arsenal says, "Thanks. Hope you're not in any of my flights." I might be, but the positive is you'll know, but I won't know. If you think about it. Take care, Jeffrey. Yeah, back to usual. Take care, RSD. Steven says, "Thanks for your service to broadcasting." Appreciate the kind words. See you Sunday. Yes, see you guys Sunday. Take care. Hope you have a nice remainder of New Year's Day. And yeah, see you guys then. Hopefully things are better then. I doubt they will be, but let's wait and see. Anyway, guys, take care.